So have you ever watched Tony Robbins? Listened to his work? And you'll know one of the biggest concepts that Tony talks about, the keys of success, is modeling. In other words, if there's something in your life that you truly want more than anything, find someone who's got that thing and then do what they do. Now, that concept's been around for a long time and a lot of years. So why is it there are a lot of brilliant people who take that concept and they model those programs and they're still unhappy? What is it that's missing from that idea? And you know, I pondered that, and then it just became so clear, so easy. Because you can model anything but being yourself. Because there's nowhere that you can go to model that. The only person that knows how to be you is you. So if you go and you try to do what Tony Robbins says, this is the key to wealth. I bought his book on wealth, and if I do his things on wealth, that's it. Well, wait a second. His things on wealth don't reflect my values. If they don't reflect my values and I'm doing his things, am I subordinating myself to someone else's ideas? And in the subordinating of myself to someone else's ideas, am I putting myself down and am I putting someone else higher? And when I put someone else higher, put myself down, how can I possibly be in self-love? I can't be. So modeling, there's value to modeling as long as what? You know who you are. You are a unique creation that only you can do. Only you can do that. So let's take it another step further. Here's your life purpose. It's real simple. It's to create you, the you that you want to be, using the tools within you. Isn't that simple? I mean, I sat down, I put that together in just a second. And I said, ooh, divine wisdom right there on the screen. But think about this. The purpose of your life is to create you. And how do you know it's you? Because within you is what? An inspired feeling. There are emotions within you that are there to guide and direct you. And when you are inspired to be your uniqueness, your emotions tell you it's you. And so if you're creating this you, then the you want to be. Well, what is the you want to be? It's from within. It's not from without. It is not from without. And the tools are within you. And we talk about those tools time in and time out. It's visualization. It's affirmations. It's meditation. It's forgiveness. It's all of these tools that we use on a daily basis. So we lost an incredible human being this week in Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. I mean, this was an incredible, incredible human being. And I want you to really grasp how great a person this was. It has nothing to do with how great a boxer he was. It has nothing to do with that. This is about a human being who on the stage of the world, with all the cameras on the world, with all of the press on the world, with all the criticism of the world on him, he stepped out and said, this is who I am. And he said, he came out and he was bold. He was this cocky young man. I am the greatest. And he would go over that and over again, and people would mock him, you narcissistic son of a gun. The press would come at him. He said, I am the greatest. I will do this. I will do this. I will do this. I will do this. And he did everything he said. And here's a man who lives on principles, who doesn't choose the lesser of two evils. And I'm really bringing this up right now because we have the opportunity in every moment. Do we choose the lesser of two evils? That's a common thing that we're faced with. Muhammad Ali's there in the pinnacle of his career, making all this money and fame. And he says he's getting drafted. He says, I'm not going to Vietnam. That war is wrong. It is against what I believe. And I'd rather go to jail and stand up for my convictions. That makes a person great. A person's great when they stand up and live and breathe to their convictions. Muhammad Ali shifted his faith. He went from Cassius Clay to being Muhammad Ali, became a Muslim. And everyone was on him because of this idea of what Muslims are. Muhammad Ali was nothing but a good human being. His family are nothing but good human beings. This whole idea that Muslims are all bad, do you not see that that is the media portraying something to create fear, and we've got to step out of that and stop buying into the nonsense that's out there and start thinking for ourselves, because behind every human being is God individualized expression. And when we see that God individualized in expression, they will reflect back to us that same love, and that's how we live in harmony. But we can't buy into the illusion. This whole idea when you're out in the world today, it's about causing us to be separate. It's a pushing this against that against this, and they want you to choose sides. No, you have your preferences. Allow everyone else to have their preferences. That's the greatness of America, is that we are free to be our unique self. And it goes back to the thing that I talked about. What is your life purpose? It's to create you, the you that you want to be, using the tools within you. Isn't it incredible? I didn't realize, but did you know that Muhammad Ali had 9 children? 7 girls and 2 boys? And isn't it amazing that he absolutely loved those children? Those children talk about their father and what he was to them. Can you imagine growing up having a father who stood up for his principles and was an example to you? When you get beyond the illusion, you find the greatest people that you will ever look and see in the world are those who are authentic, those who are real, those who are consistent. That's what our goal is to be the great you. So let's take it even a step further. What holds us back? It's our inner conflict. Inner conflict stops us from being our most magnificent self. This conflict is caused by our subconscious and our conscious thoughts that are not aligned with what we want. These are the thoughts that our parents have given us, that society has given us, that television has given us, that political parties have given us, that religions have given us, and we say, oh, these thoughts, they're not in alignment with my values. I feel bad. Oh, my Catholic background won't let me do that. Or my Episcopal background won't let me do this. This won't let me do this. My parents will be mad at me for doing this. We've got to basically say it's time to cut the cord from everyone who has an opinion that's contrary to what we desire to be and express in the world. We cannot care. Because our purpose, again, is to be our most unique, authentic, and perfect self. That's the only reason why we were created. If God, this entity, this beingness, this cosmos, this thing that is bigger than any human, so I can't even anthropomorphize it, but it doesn't have anything in it that is the same. Can I make that clear? If you look out through the entire planet, if you look through every cell, the trillions of cells in a body, there are no 2 things that are alike. So why is it we as humans are trying to get each other to be like each other? No. See, that's why there's so much pain. You see this in relationships. Oh, honey, if you're like this, then I'll be happy. Well, you'll do that for a while, and the person will be happy for a while, but guess what? The person who's making all the changes, they're not happy. Why? Because they're not able to be themselves. The second you're not able to be your unique self, you will not be happy. The second you cause someone or you try to stimulate someone to not be themselves, they will be unhappy, and guess what? They will come back being themselves, and it will make you unhappy. The way to do it is to understand and accept everyone in their perfect uniqueness. Now, how can we harmoniously create together? So I want to go to the keys to being you. You got to be bold. Do you hear that? Being bold means I'm going to step out of whatever you or anyone in my life wants of me, and I'm going to choose to be me. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to choose to be me. When I started on my spiritual path, my mother says, Lee, what gives you the right to think that you could be a minister? What gives you the right to think you could do this? How can you go against what you were born and raised at as a Catholic? How could you do that? And I looked at her and said, this is what I choose. You can follow me on this path, or we will not discuss this ever again. I made it very clear. I made it clear to my Father. And then what happens? They accept me as I am. They have no choice. Why would I give them a choice? You brought me into this world. You agreed to love me as I am in all of my fullness. Now, in my adultness, I'm giving you the opportunity now that I'm not going to play your child anymore. I'm going to be Lee, and they love me as I am. And you know what? They did. The love became real. It wasn't a phony love. It wasn't a love of a child pleasing a parent. The same thing happens in my relationships. I'm bold. People, when Gene and I got married, December of 1972, everyone thought we would end up divorced because I was different. I was unique. I was bold. I made decisions. I said, people would say to me, you need your wife. No, I don't. I don't need my wife. I choose to be with my wife. You see, there's a real difference. You need your wife to be complete. No, I don't. I'm complete just as I am. I choose to be with my wife so that co-creatively we can create something even greater. But I'm complete without her. Same thing with your children. My children are a reflection of me. No, they're not. My children are a reflection of themselves. They're unique, whole, and perfect as they are, and how they are in the world nowhere reflects back to me who I am. What reflects out to the world of who I am is who I am. You see, we bought into these illusions out there that our spouse, that our children, that our parents are people that reflect who we are in the world. No, they don't. You've got to be clear. This is real important. You can be bold, but you can be stupid bold. Really stupid bold. You got to be clear about who are you? What is it that you value? What is it you really value? And from that value, what's your purpose? And when you get that clarity, everything else falls away. From there, you've got to be self-centered. And this is where a lot of people say, well, that's very narcissistic. And I go, yes, it is. Because if you're not focused on being the greatest you will never be the greatest you. There isn't a person out there that's interested in you being greater. The only thing people are interested in is in them being greater. Think about that. Because what's our mission? My mission is to be the greatest Lee I can be. Jean's mission is to be the greatest Jean she can be. Stephen's mission is to be the greatest Steve can be. It's not about coming back to Lee. The only person who cares about Lee's goals in life and where Lee ends up is Lee. Now, when I become that Lee, I bring an authenticity to the world that can love everyone else the same way I love Lee. So it's not narcissistic, because it's not just me taking from you, it's me becoming so I can give to you. Persistent. This is really so key. This is where most people fall down, the next two, is they're not persistent and they're not consistent. When you've created the image of who you are in that, you live, you breathe it in every moment, every decision that comes up. Someone says to me, will you do this? No. Why not? It's not alignment with what I value. It's that easy. We have a fear that will hurt someone. Let me make this really clear. You cannot hurt anyone. They can only hurt themselves by how they perceive what you do. So what narcissism is thinking that you have the power to hurt somebody. That puts you, I'm on a pedestal, I'm better than they are, I can strike down on them and hurt them. No, they have to perceive that you can do that for it to happen. So the power still is within them. This is where love really comes in now. Love is about patience, and love is about acceptance. So I know I'm on a journey. I know that the Lee that is today is the greatest Lee that I could be in this moment, and yet what I know is the Lee that is in the next moment will be the greatest Lee. What I have to do is accept right where I'm at, and know that right where I'm at is perfect, it is great, it is everything, And I have to accept and know that because of my boldness, my clarity, my self-centeredness, my persistence, and my consistency, I will continue to evolve, which is the natural nature of myself. And in that natural nature, I am fulfilling my destiny. And if I'm fulfilling my destiny, then I'm at inner peace. And when I'm at inner peace, I'm in a state of oneness. In a state of oneness, I'm an all-powerful creator of my life, not yours. And when I create my life, I become a living, breathing example of the Christ, of the Buddha today on the planet, and therefore I become that which you could model to a degree once you've determined your unique sets of values and your unique purpose, and then you live authentically from that. Mouthful. But you see, that's why we gather every Sunday. We gather here every Sunday as a community because we're trying to break through the illusion and see our truth. But here's the key. A practitioner or a minister can come to you, and you could say, pray with me, and they can pray with you. And in that prayer, they will know that you are whole, perfect, complete, healthy, abundant, and loving in this moment. But how are you bringing that to the world? You must decide. Only you can decide that. A practitioner, a minister, friend, all they can do is support that within you. But you see, that's the gift of life. That's what makes this life so good, because the power is here. The power is here. And we bring these two together, and we live a life that is centered, a life that is clear, a life that is bold, a life that is powerful, a life that is persistent, a life that is consistent, a life that is patient, and a life that is accepting. And now there's no need to judge. With no need to judge, all that is left is love. I invite you today to begin with that. Accept yourself in this moment. Be bold as yourself, but be clear on who you are and how you desire in the world. And let no one stand in your way to you being the perfect you. Let's pray.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I am so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask you to go to our website. Once there, click on the Contribute button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to the world. I would also ask you to please share this message with anyone you feel might benefit. Again, I want to thank you for joining me and the Agape community as together we bring joy to life.